Good morning to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
It's my pleasure in this today's pleasant morning to welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Anil B. Malali sir, Professor and Head, Department of Commerce, Acharya Institute of Graduate Studies. On behalf of our Chairman and Managing Trustee, Sri R. Solachami sir, Director and Trustee, Mrs. Vigneshwari Anukumar Madam, and respected Principal, Dr. B.G. Vishnuram sir, and below Dean, Dr. P. Marichami sir, and our members of faculty from PSO group of institutions. And this is the right time. I extend my warm welcome to the participants who are educators, academicians, administrators, research scholars from various disciplines from different parts of India. Because it's the right time to make this title, that is a paradigm shift. At this juncture, no, I invite Mr. A.K. Madhu, Assistant Professor Mechanical Engineering and Training and Placement Officer for Institute, to make a brief address of about chief guest. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Paradigm Shift in the Teaching. It's an honor for me to introduce and welcome our Chief, Anil B. Malali sir, Associate Professor and Head Department of Commerce and the IQAC Coordinator, Acharya Institute of Graduate Sciences Guru, to this webinar. He has 17 years of teaching experience in various esteemed institutions, and he has published various, international journals. He has a strong knowledge in cost management and cost accounting and strategic management. Welcome you, sir. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. And now it's time to initiate the session. And I request Dr. to start the session and share us his thoughts and views and experiences about. Thank you, sir. What is it? YouTube is YouTube is not receiving enough video to make it streaming. Stream கொடுத்துறவா எதுவுமே பண்ணாதீங்க கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா அப்படியே வந்துட்டே இருக்கும் இந்த ஸ்டூல்ஸ் லோ ஆனாலும்
Yeah, good morning. Now I think I am visible. See, I'm really sorry for this goof up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. Now you are audible, sir. Welcome to the
Yes,
session,
yes.
sir.
Thank you very much. Google Meet is new for me. I tried yesterday, I could work on it, but today I'm using a different system and I don't know what happened. So anyway, good morning everybody. I'll not think anymore. Already we are running short of time, so let me just go ahead and start my presentation. I thank the and Professor Kasi Raman for having me here. I welcome all the participants who have joined for this session. So I'll keep it very crisp and make sure that most of the time we'll spend on discussing new things. So my presentation will be on the methodology which we are going to follow in future as far as teaching learning is concerned. So let me start the presentation. I'm just sharing the entire screen. I hope you can see the PPT now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, good, very good. So these are the content which I have to deliver. The basic structure of my talk would be on the basis of these areas. So I'll be talking about the present scenario in a little brief as to what the present education scenario is all about. And then I'll move on to understanding what is the COVID-19 would bring. So we are not sure about it, but then we'll try to explore what are the different areas where there are new gamut of opportunities. And then we'll move on to trying to understand the major area, crux of our talk is shift in teaching learning process, how the shift will happen in the way we are actually delivering the lectures now. And then I'll be talking about the challenges for the teachers today. Definitely a lot of work to do on overcoming those challenges. And then trying to understand how you have to continually do it, which will be of what you mean by continuous teaching and improved skill process. So this is what I'm going to talk about today, and this is how the structure. Now, coming to the present scenario. Present scenario, we already know a lot of things have been talked about. Present scenario of the education system in India, basically. So if you look at the education system today, the type of education, especially the higher education, there is a standard degree which is being provided, 3 to 4 years degree. So this 3 to 4 year degree, I think there is a lot of, somebody has to mute the mic, please. Everybody has to mute yourself. Yeah. So 3 to 4 years degree is what is being offered. 3 years as far as your other degrees are concerned, and 4 years is your engineering. So this is how the structured way of delivery we have as far as the higher education system is concerned. And most of this teaching which happens is actually teacher-centric curriculum. teacher-centric curriculum is we have not moved to something called student-centric yet. We are trying to do that, but then a lot of work still has to be done. Presently, what we are doing is most of the structured syllabus given by the university they create with understanding of the industry, and we start offering. So still it is more based on your teacher-centric curriculum. And looking at the present scenario of our gross enrollment ratio. Now, gross enrollment ratio is nothing but how many students they go to higher education after their school. Including a +2, how many of them they actually join the formal higher education system. Now here, only 25 to 28%. I have mentioned 25 because a lot of the data which I gathered, the official data presently is 28%, which is again debatable. So I thought let me put it on a safer side of 25%. So it is around 25-28% of gross enrollment ratio, and that too it is very progenic in nature when it compared to the entire India. Some states are less than 10%, and the state like Tamil Nadu, which is the highest, 46 to 47% of the students who pass out, they actually go into the higher education system. So you can see the diverse gross enrollment ratio we have across India, and there is a lot to happen naturally because the education ministry wants to double this enrollment in future, and the kind of activity they have to do to double it, to make it 50 or 60%. Or comparative, if you compare with the advanced countries like US and all, where the gross enrollment ratio is around 70 to 75%. So if you have to bring that kind of change, definitely there has to be a lot of things the government has to do, and they are planning on that. Then comes your, we have around 40,000 colleges are there, with around 750 odd universities. Most of these are again, they are offering education which is basically on physical classroom teaching system. Physical classroom system, there is nothing wrong in it, but then this is how the present situation is. We'll try to see this situation, how COVID would bring in a change is what is my idea of today. And most of the delivery we do is a standard delivery. If you look at the picture next to what the points I have put, the entire education system is explained. So that in the name of examination, when I'm conducting examination, climbing a tree. So naturally, it is not just the examination. Even the scientific system is, okay, let us learn how to climb a tree. Even if it is a fish or an elephant or a monkey, everybody will have to learn the same thing. So we don't know whether it is right or wrong, but then this is how the standard has happened over the years. Now, this is basically the present situation to see how COVID actually brings in the change or try to bring in a change in the coming slides. Now, this is what the universities and colleges would actually be doing. Now, most of the ages, they are basically the agencies of knowledge transfer, co-creation of knowledge and AI-resistant capabilities. This again I have taken from the lecture of one of the professors in US. He talks about AI-resistant capabilities. AI-resistant capabilities is which artificial intelligence is not capable of doing. Right, so your emotional intelligence or your creative ability, and now people or students, they would get the information from the internet. Now, even if you talk about any specific topic in finance or in, it's not difficult for them to get the information. They get a lot of data, they get the information, they can also go and understand the things. So there are a lot of changes which have been happening in the scenario, in the present scenario, is that there is a lot of things which is artificial intelligence which is being driving, and we are still in the brick and mortar system of teach. Have educational institution, we have classrooms, we have computer labs, and we still have the traditional system of teaching, which had to be overcome because of the COVID-19 situation. Now, let me come to this. Now, this is where the change has happened. Now, COVID, this thing, we never knew this is going to happen. And a lot of things were uncertain. There was no amount of certainty when it comes to this particular situation. So we never knew when they are going to open, and still we don't know when the colleges are going to open, when the students will be like in the classroom together, or whether we'll have to wait for a few more months to get that situation coming back. So we are not aware of the Kanan. Is that it has taken us to online teaching. I don't know, most of you might have started online teaching in 6 or 7 days time. The entire content which you had prepared for the physical classrooms, you changed it and started doing it online, right? So most of us, we have experienced it. So we teachers have done it. We have done it wonderfully. That I really congratulate all the teaching and applaud for the kind of efforts they have put. And most of the students are getting benefited out of it. But then, will this COVID-19, what they have done in a very short time, be a change agent? Will it give a stone, or will it provide a stone from where we can of technology-driven system of education? Now, you wanted to not, most of the education system in future would be technology-driven. I don't know, many of us who have been visiting your traditional banks still would want to go to bank and meet people. But then today, so I don't think anybody would have visited a bank branch in last couple of years. For maybe for a very reason, lost your PIN code or something like that. That also is now online. So nothing you have to do to going to the bank. So the banking system had made itself virtually present everywhere. So COVID-19 has brought in a situation where the most of the teaching system or your education system will be on technology. It will be a tech-driven, we want it or not. And then I was talking about this. Let me go to the previous slide. Here, I was talking about the standard 3 to 4 years of degree. Now here, standard degree will say when you have a gross enrollment ratio of around 25%, and you still have people who can go for higher education, and you want them to join a 3-year degree, which is losing its importance. Most of the people don't join the graduate degree because it is not the skills which are required. And most of the graduates, the major challenge for the industry is that they are not employable. You will agree with me, and a lot of this has been discussed and written about. So we know, I mean, there is a problem, and there is a solution also for that. We have to find a solution, and the major solution is competency-based program. Now, they are looking for pace they want to do. Now, this is what your new system of technology-driven system would bring in. It will try to accommodate these through a lesser contact hours and more online hours, which the students can still afford and the universities are able to offer. Now here, you're trying to strike a balance between what the customer needs, your student needs, and what the university can. I don't have to create 80,000 or 1 lakh or colleges and make my gross enrollment ratio increase it to 70% or 80%. No. So the finance is the major issue. Yes, we are taking care of it, because now if the universities, the reputed universities, stick to this system, new system of technology-driven education, then definitely there will be a change the way the education is being delivered in India. It would be coming into the gamut of this gross enrollment ratio, and there will be increase in people who want to learn. So this will help the university start work. Now it is we to decide whether this change is bring in this competency-based programs which will deliver the hard skills there. The government tried doing it. If you remember, there is a program called Skill India. Skill India was an initiative by the government of India where they tried to bring in education institutions, training these specific programs. If you go through the gamut of courses they offer, they are all hard skills programs. Then I will have to make myself, the universities or the colleges have to make themselves such that the content which can be delivered online and the content taught in the colleges. So you're basically trying to mix these things, and that is how the hybrid system will start working. So it will only give you the opportunity to do highly adaptable. The system has to be more adaptable, right? And that is how the adaptability is all about. I have put this GIF file of this thing. Singham is coming out of the running car. I mean, the adaptability is what I'm trying to show. So this is how the content has to be, and it has to be highly adaptable also. Now, we'll try to understand how this shift has happened and how the teacher, as a major stakeholder in this entire process, is able to provide, the role. I mean, he can give his contribution and make sure it's more robust. Now, remember, it is a teacher who will actually bring the change in this entire system. You want it or not. There are a lot of things which are happening. Yes, if I have to tell you, most of the teachers who started teaching online, if you remember, you have already had the content with you. You were about to start. You were already started the course, and you are in the middle of the course delivery. And during that time, you go online. The COVID-19, the moment we stopped the colleges, the students stopped coming to colleges, and the vacuum created in between. Then we started understanding that this is not temporary, it will not go away in 1 or 2 weeks, it will stay for a few months. Then we started understanding other way has to be found, right? So that is what we did. So that is how necessity is the mother of innovation. We tried starting innovating. Fine, let me start using Zoom. Was the best known platform, so everybody started working on it. It was 40 minutes of pre-years thing, and then we started exploring other. So teaching online became a process because of this. The shift has already happened. But then, what we have been doing all these days is the offline content to the online content. If you look at this picture, the same teacher, what she was doing offline, that is in the college, she is into the presentation online. So maybe this a good idea for the short-term challenge can be very good in a long run. So in long run, we may have to use a host of digital solutions. Digital solutions are many. Look at the kind of visualization which can be done over the computer. You will be mesmerized. You can see, how I usually enjoy the teaching where they are using a lot of graphics and all. And children, they love it. I don't know, if I ask you a question like b whole square, some of you can just answer, unmute and answer. What is a plus b whole square?
A square plus B square plus 2AB.
Great. Anybody else?
A square plus B square plus 2AB.
2AB, yeah. See, most of us, we know. Are you all mathematics students? Most of us are management or commerce. So we still remember that because that has been taught. Excuse me, if you can mute your audios. Thank you. You can just mute your audios for the time being. Please. Now, if I had asked you a question, you would immediately answer because a teacher might have taught you 100 times and you have written it so many times you remember. But then, if I ask you where you are going to use it, where is the application, most of you will struggle. What can be the application? Because we have been taught a different this thing. We have been more taught on understanding what you are supposed to learn. The application part was thought that you learn it later. That was not so. If you look at the Byju's, I'm not marketing anybody, but just to give an example, if you have seen the advertisement of Byju's, how a plus b whole square, he is able to visualize. I thought of showing that video, but then it will be too, it is kids, this thing I thought not include in this session. But if you can visualize, you put those squares, you will drag that square and put it down. So the children will enjoy doing it. Now, the college-going students are not different. They also want something which they can visualize. They don't want anybody who completely is speaking, and then you have to listen. No, nobody will do that. The college children, they have a different need altogether. And digital platform will only give you those solutions. So you have solutions at hand. You will do it. In addition to that, there is also a possibility of mass customization. What is mass customization? I am always fascinated by this word because whenever you see the online shopping and all online this thing, you can customize your product online. I can tell them what I want, how I want, and then right. So all the things, even General Motors tried. General Motors said that if you want your car interiors, you can tell what kind of color and design you want. They will. How this is possible because of technology. The same thing happens in education also. When I'm teaching the student of 50 a class or 70 a class or maybe a little more than that in some cases. Now here I can identify the slow learners and advanced learners using technology. Earlier my only way of gauging them was the marks. I'll see what is your marks. You are 25 out of 100. No, you are very slow learner. No, you are a failure. Then I'll say G and O, you're fast learner. There is a difference. Marks is not a decision maker as to whether you are a slow or a fast learner. Whether you learn with your friends or learn on your own, whether you learn experimentally or you're learning on the basis of lecture. So each and every student have a different learning capabilities, and we explore by digital platform. Digital platform, what it will do? It will make you monitor such things. It will give you the gamut of data which you can analyze and start working on the students. Say, a simple example, if I give a problem for my students in a class, I'll ask them to solve it and maybe in 1 hour class, 15 minutes problem. Some students, they do it in 2 minutes. They solve everything and they say, sir, this is the answer. But there are others who do it. They do it religiously, they put their efforts, but they try it 2-3 times. Some students have to try for 10 times, but they get to the answer. In that 15 minutes which I have given, some they finish in 2 minutes, some they finish in 5 minutes, some they are not doing it even, so or even more than that. Now, here I know who is the slow learner, who is the fast learner. Now, this is what is a slow and a fast learner is all about. I am able to distinguish that. Technology will kill you. I am not telling that this will happen overnight. We will have to work a lot to get to this. Right, so the shift is actually going to happen, and this is where the teachers are going to have their struggle. And how exactly I'm going to make this online classes? How they are going to deliver what exactly I want to deliver. Now, this process has to start. Most of you have to make a beginning because there is no other choice. Now that you're into college, the only option available is to have online classes. So you have made a beginning, yes. But now what you have to understand is that the knowledge is there with you, you check. The other things you have to work around is the technology. You need to identify multiple gadgets to get this. It will not happen overnight. You will have to put your efforts to get this happening. I don't know how many of you have to record your videos in a way the students will enjoy watching it. So we'll have to start a beginning. There has to be beginning has to be made. Only thing is you should be confident about it. You say that, yeah, I'm going to do it. I know the subject. I am very good in subject. These things are just how I deliver. So I'll have to visualize what is the best way of delivering. Then the students, now the students are not different. They are also coming on online platform for the first time. I mean, they also never knew that they are going to learn online. So they will be coming to this clueless as to what is happening. And many times they have been used to a classroom teaching where teacher is looking at you and you are responding accordingly. But here, it is not so. If you will be looking at a screen, his friends would not be around to tap and read and chat and all. So he is in a different scenario now. I have to prepare him for that. The student's perspective will also have to be changed. A lot of counseling you have to do with the student. I have to talk to them frequently. And how I'm going to make sure that the student are able to get what is being delivered. It's not easy. I mean, you might have already gone through this. When you are teaching online, you don't know whether students are connected, first of all, whether they are looking at you, whether they are listening to you. You may have to prompt them. You have to go ahead and give them some shots in between. That is required. So you will have to work out those things and make sure the students start responding. Now, that is very important. So you will have your technology and your teaching abilities in such a fashion that you are able to deliver, and it has its own way of this thing. You will have to do a lot of experiments, and these experiments are in bits and pieces. Now, every day I do one or the other experiment, and this experiment I'll see whether it was good. If it is good, it is fruitful, I use it the next time. And every class I have one or the other new experiment added to it. If it is good, if you feel no, this is not happening, drop. You have to decide on it. So this is how you're going to actually conduct this thing. Analytics is there. As I told you, you can identify learning abilities. You can identify their attention span. All those things is possible when you are using a right technological tool. I don't know about Google Meet, but Zoom does that. Zoom is able to identify and tell you whether the student was attentive and what is the time of or span of attention he had in the class. That is a beautiful information for me. So if there are 50 students in my class and I'm teaching to them, I know where I can improve. I know what is the sector I have to, what is a segment of the class where I have to make the changes. This is possible. And then you will have to also be able to develop what is called a robust discussion and use breakout groups. Now, to make you understand the breakout groups, I'll just play two videos of the what you call the advertisement of one company. I'll just try to do that and see how it goes. I'll just screen those videos through. Just a moment, give me some time. The entire screen is the best. Now just watch these two commercials which I'm going to play. This is the first one. If you're not able to hear this thing, you can just let me know.
It's visible, but no audio, sir.
Yes, sir. So audio will not be heard to our participants, sir.
So shall I disconnect the audio and do it? It is possible. Will it work that way?
Yes, sir.
I'll just try. Slide it back and okay. Yeah, now I'm audible. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just run the video. You can just watch the video and discuss. Let it be just an advertisement which was broadcasted before, so you can understand that. I hope you watched it. What I'll do, I'm going to play. I know you're not able to hear the audio, but don't worry. The understood. The message which I want to just give would be understood. So if you can see the second one. This I happened to try when I was teaching them strategic management. I'll just tell you. Okay, could you go through the this thing videos? Now, can you just tell me what these two videos, what you made out from these two, what you call advertisements. This was a strategic management class where I was teaching them communication as to how product communication has to happen. Now, somewhere if I just keep on talking, what will happen is the students, I lose them. I won't be making them involved. So I showed two groups. There were two groups. One group, I played the first video. The other group, I played the second video. And when they came back to the class, after watching these videos, I asked each group to explain what the product was and what they were trying to communicate. So if you can try from your end what the first advertisement was trying to communicate, and some other can just tell me what the second advertisement was trying to communicate. Product is the same. Please, if anybody can just assist me so that...
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, I want to answer it.
Yeah, please. Meantime, I'll just drink the water.
Hello, are you listening to me, sir?
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir. In the first ad, the message was related to the family is happy while they seeing the car. Okay, and in second message, they just want to convey the speciality of compact car, spacious one.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, the first advertisement actually said they focused
Yes.
on the family issues, I think. Just compact
Yes.
family and all. In the second
Yes.
one, they brought the conceptualness. That
Yes,
means the
yes,
same
yes.
product was shifted for youth. Okay,
Yes,
that was
yes,
like
yes.
something like a marketing strategy.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. See, basically, when I'm trying to teach them communication of the product, the first communication was about how this product is for those who are using scooters till now. If you can see in that entire this thing, there is one scooter with wife and children on the same scooter.
excuse me,
The
sir.
traditional, yeah, please.
Can I answer the for second picture?
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, that was the picture. Actually, that totally caters the need of customers.
Yes.
They put the customer in at the center and visualize their needs by knowing their psychology behind buying the products. And
Very
Nano is
much.
that,
Okay.
and Nano is that car which is in the budget line of everyone, and
Okay.
for small family, small budget, and this was the main focus of marketing that.
Very much. Thank you, Shreya. Yes. So basically, the first advertisement which I did to target the middle and lower income group of the society. Tata never wanted this to happen. They wanted to bring a car which everybody can afford. But then when they communicated it, it was totally wrong. It is for somebody who is of low income group. There is a lot of debate on that. I'm not going to go. The students will start coming out with their own understanding as to what they have understood from these two advertisements. Then I swipe it. I'll show the second advertisement to the first group and the first advertisement to the second group. Now remember, what I so you are actually trying to prove them. I'll come to my presentation again so that I can just show you what I was trying to tell. So just a moment. Now, can you see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I was trying to tell you breakout groups. Breakout groups is something where you break the group into two different segments in the same class. You create a class, one in the classroom, and these people you can address separately. The first group you can address separately, and the second group you can address separately. Yeah, technology has it for you. You can have multiple breakout groups and give them assignments wherein your live class, your synchronous class, you are able to get this done. And the students will enjoy doing it because they are doing it on their own, they are coming back. And remember, they are not sitting on the same desk, they are at their own places. And still they are able to communicate and they are able to get this new thing happening. They will be really enjoying it. So you are able to get this robust discussion by using these breakout groups. So this is what I was trying to say. You have to use the technology and start these experiments. Then you have to decide how you are going to mix synchronous and asynchronous classes. I think I'm getting some disturbance. Somebody has not muted the mic. Please mute your mics. Yeah, please mute the mics. Right. Okay. So now, when I say synchronous is when both the student and the teacher are on the same. You are there online. Both the students are also online, and you are using your lecture or any other method of teaching them. Asynchronous is where you are giving the videos or your recorded lectures to them for viewing it at their time, whenever they are free, at their leisure. And then when they come to the class or when they are discussing with you, they are discussing on these aspects of your lecture. So you can bring in a mix of synchronous and asynchronous teaching and make sure that the students are engaged. To do that, there is a beautiful article which I read very recently, so I took the information from there. And this talks about high intensity interval training. What is this high intensity interval training? It is actually used in gymnasium. High intensity interval training is you give an interval, a break, and then give a very high intensity workout. So you are at rest and immediately you are making them to work intensely. So this is a system used in education. So they try to work on this. These are the people, Ringel, Terrello, and Green. These three people have worked on this paper recently on Harvard Business Published House. I was just going through the articles, and this article, caught my eyes. And they said how you can exactly design your lecture. Now, when you are designing a lecture, the first thing you have to make is right mental this thing. You should have your mind ready for it. So mentally, you should be prepared. You should not go with your own this thing that this is on anyway, it will not be fruitful. So the usual this thing with the teachers is, no, this is online. How can I be more convincing? Give me a classroom, give me a physical classroom. I will do wonderfully, because we are used to it. We say this is online class. No, this is not going to happen. If I go with that mental understanding, then it will be very difficult. So I have to make myself understand, no, this is how it is going to be, and I'll have to work myself up and get to the expectation. So if that is the case, and then only you can work. So first thing is, you have to have a right mental zone. Then you should hold concise, powerful class session. Now remember, you cannot give everything at one go. Always try to break this thing. You say, what I am going to teach on Monday, what I am going to introduce. So usually every day's schedule, you should be able to design and then accordingly deliver what I am going to do on Wednesday. So that students, they wait for it. Now, I don't know how many of you seen the television serial, this something which will create curiosity. Now, yes, it is difficult, but we talk about it, but then you will have to work towards it and identify where I should stop so that the curiosity continues. The curiosity should be continued. So you bring those things. Either you show something, you do something, you can have charts or anything put on it and ask them to think, and they come back the next day. Or something like that. So you are trying to make sure that each session is so purposeful that they are going for the next. They are going to come for the next class with enthusiasm. Now, this is how you have to plan. In the regular you have to, activity should be such that it will have a short burst intervals. Now, this I'm going to show you a slide where the entire process of 90 minutes of lecture is being detailed. So before that, you have to set the group up for success. Now remember, your students, as I told you, they are not different. You have to make sure that you have sufficient motivation given to them. Right? So only then you can do. I mean, all the teachers, what we are doing is we work very religiously, but somebody comes and tells, you cannot do it. This is not your job. Then, online is not your cup of tea. Then we start pulling yourself down. But if you are deaf and you start doing it, you do it. So you don't listen to it, and you make sure that you create your own way of doing so. So this is somewhere this one spoke about how exactly they do it. I have created, I have taken this from their sample interval training schedule by using this high intensity interval training. what they do is see how the entire process is broken down. Interval 1, interval 2. The first interval, they start with welcome. There is an energizer. Energizer is nothing but either you show a video or you do a brain puzzle or something like that, where the students start thinking. They start doing some activity. Then you may run a presentation poll. In fact, I was having a presentation poll to run, but then I came to know the polling would happen. So asked you the question, whether you know a plus b whole square. I could have run a presentation. I would know how many of you said yes. Out of 200 or 100 people who are there, I would say 75% said yes, they knew what it is. They know the expansion of it. Then I know what is the statistics, and accordingly I can run my lecture. So you can have a presentation poll in between 13 minutes or so. They have given a sample thing. Then you can break them out in groups and give them assignments. Then you can have rapid report outs. They have to come out and rapidly give their answers. So this will keep them engaged, and they will also be glued to the subject. And teacher is also at ease. Online, it is very difficult. When I am talking continuously, and if I stop for a few minutes or few seconds, not minutes, if I stop for a few minutes, I get clueless what to do, because even the listeners will lose interest. So there is a possibility that I may have to speak continuously. If you remember, when I said, let me drink a glass of water. Now this I have to say, because you are not actually visualizing in a classroom, you know what I'm doing. But here, you are looking at a slide. You're not going into that inset what I'm doing. So I'll have to tell that, yeah. Then you are keeping them alive with the class. So these things have to happen. So you'll have to keep them engaged by working out. Then there is a break, then re-energizers, then again presentation. So you can break the entire session of 60 or 90 minutes into the various intensities. They call it as warm-up, cool-down, or energy-intensive exercise. Now, same thing you can run in a classroom. So this is possible. So only thing is you will have to start experimenting, and that is what is required by the teachers. So the final this thing I just on the final slide. The continuous learning is what is required for the teachers, and you have to continuously improve. If you can see, the gentleman said continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Now, you have to add on a daily basis one or the other improvement in your online teaching. This is very much required. The teaching learning process will have a shift. Moment you start working, there are a lot of colleges which will be struggling with their admissions. We will require to boot up and see that I get my students, I get the students. I should know that my students would come to me. My college is able to deliver. How you are going to do it if they don't come to the college? The teachers. The teachers have put up and say, yes, even if they don't come to college, we are better positioned to deliver them at their doorstep. Now they have technology, we are equipped with it, and we are good. And the colleges will start looking for people who are of this nature. So as a teacher, my job is to start working on these improvements. And if you can see, if we don't do it, ultimately you will have to transform instantly. Now, gradually, if it happens, it is good. But if it happens tenuously, then we'll have to use a lot of energy. We are not transformers, right? That's why I put that slide. And these things I learned only from starting teaching online. How to accommodate these new students will enjoy watching others. And if I am able to make them understand the concept, nothing like that. Right, so this is what was the entire exercise of this entire session was. We tried to understand how this COVID-19 will bring a new situation the teacher will have to adapt to. Now, most of the people across the globe, they are struggling with online teaching. Nobody is very comfortable. But most of them, they are doing wonderfully because whatever they know, they have the subject knowledge with them. Now, it is the only thing what we have to do is bring in technology and start working with it. So that is where the change will happen, and I expect most of you to start working on your skills, and hopefully we will come out, many will come out being very good teachers. I have observed the people who used to struggle in a regular class, physical class. There are teachers who are very shy. The moment students look at their watches, they get nervous. But they are doing fabulously when it comes to online because they can't directly see the student. Excuse me. Just mute for 5 more minutes. I'm done with. Just mute your audience, please. Okay. Sir. So basically, what will happen by doing this is that the teachers will get into the new mood way of teaching. Those who are very shy in their regular class, they are fabulously doing online because they cannot see directly the students. And the students are interested in these classes because he's able to deliver them. So we don't know where the talent is hidden. We'll have to just bring it up. But that is the job of most of the educators, and we as the mentors, the head of the departments, the principals and the deans will have to handhold these people and make sure that they bring out the talents. Fine. So this is it from me. I just conclude and open the session for Q&A. Meantime, I'll just grab a little water. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, or we can just call it a day. Okay.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I am Manoj.
Okay, tell me, Manoj.
Sir, can we insert online learning in our regular syllabus formations? This type of learning will be helpful for slow learners.
Definitely. See, Manoj, going down the line, the universities itself will plan the curriculum in such a fashion that there will be a majority of the part which will be online learning.
Yes, sir.
The remaining, say for example, 60% online, 40% the regular teaching. Because I cannot completely do away regular teaching, especially if you're talking about physics and chemistry where the experiments are there. I cannot make them do it online. So they have to come to the college. There is teacher-student interaction is required.
Okay.
So yes, the universities will start doing it. Most of the foreign universities have started doing it. In fact, they call it as fall, spring and winter sessions. And they have already started creating curriculum which are online and offline platforms. So they are all started working on it. Most of the Indian universities are also gearing up. I have seen Bangalore University, especially which our college is affiliated to, Bangalore Central University. They are planning with the online examinations also. So we don't know. The opportunities are immense. Right. Great.
I am from Kerala, sir.
Good. So no, irrespective of the state. Kerala, I think it is one of the states where the changes happen very fast.
Okay, that's it.
So hopefully they will bring out the new system very quickly.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, do you think outcome will be more effective in online compared to traditional teaching?
Sudha, what will happen is that when you talk about online, you have to design a content where the outcome is, more effective. Now, even in offline teaching, if I am taking a classroom, outcome is debatable. Most of us would not be working on outcomes and then trying to take the class. Even if we do, there are limited. How much we get from it. So there is a limitation as to the advantage we get even in a regular class. So online it is a little more challenging, but yes, online gives you the opportunity to design in such a fashion that you are able to get the goods from it. Yes, it will open up a lot of this thing from it. I just give you example, A plus B whole square. The Byju's would have taken it in a different level. They use the graphics. If you are able to use those graphics, nothing like it. It will be very easy for the students to understand there. So yes, online teaching would be useful when you are talking about outcome-based education also.
But our curriculum is not updated till now, sir. Many of the universities and levels not updated still.
No,
curriculum is based on the traditional teaching only. It's not based on the online teaching.
Okay, let me give you an example. If tradition, the curriculum is already there, it talks about the subject. I have to teach it, say for example, income tax. The income tax is my subject. Now, what an income tax is something which is every year the government would be giving the guidelines and accordingly. Now this subject would not change as such. The university will not be changing the subject. The way the delivery is what I have to decide by on online platform. So my job is to convert this syllabus into a curriculum which will be delivered online more effectively. Now, we are not talking about the changing the subject as such. Yeah, subject would change. Tomorrow, maybe the universities will come up and say, this is the content for online learning and this is the content for offline learning. We don't know. We don't have a reason now. But then sooner or later, this will happen. There will be universities which will say, I don't want to build more and more classrooms. Why do I waste investment? It's a huge investment. So university would be more, driven by the strategic decisions. I take people who are able to deliver both. I take assets which are useful, worth enough, effective, and then I will not have any more buildings. I don't invest in it. Because I know 25% is in class, 75%. So they have their own mathematics, they do it. It is our teachers to gear up now. If I just start telling that, no, this will not happen, it will not happen. So, yeah, there are challenges. I don't say there are no challenges, but we have to find a way to convert this curriculum into the online, more effective things. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, can you please suggest what are the strategies as teachers we have to take up this challenge, sir? How do we get ourselves prepared for conducting online classes? What are services?
Yeah, are you already taking online classes?
At present, we have a learning management system where we offer assignment and all those things in our institution, sir.
Yes. Now, I have already put in my slide, you have to blend your asynchronous class, synchronous classes, both students and faculty coming online, like the platform now. It can be Zoom or Google Meet, when you are interacting with them, either through your lectures. So, avoid taking lectures online. If I go on lecture, what will happen? The students will not have that listening thing. These things can be recorded and sent to them. Lectures can be recorded. If I have to teach them how to do this mathematics, I can just do it on a board, record it, and send it to the student. That is more effective. Instead of me actually calling them online, also online, and then delivering. So instead of that, let that content go offline, asynchronous way. I send it to their WhatsApp or the LMS, what you told you, or Google Classroom or something, where I attach that recording. The students will learn from those recordings, and online classes can be for discussions and deliberations. Give them puzzles, give them something, brain crackers, which will help them to start working, and they also interact. So those can be more interactive. You'll have to blend these things. So it will not happen overnight. I won't say you will become a very good overnight. So I am learning every day. I try to bring in new things. So this learning has to happen, and one will become used to the technology. And how many of you know? Many of us, we struggled even changing over to the whiteboard system. I still prefer using chalk pieces on the glass board. Teachers would still use glass board. If there is a glass board, I'll come. You can imagine how stubborn we are to change. But then now it is inevitable. I have to. So you have to open up. Especially the young teachers, they can do fabulous. I say sky is the limit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How can we do online tests?
Online tests, see again, what we did was we used Google Form as online test. There are a lot of agencies which are coming up for conducting online exams now. Even the university, our university, Bangalore Central University, they conducted certain sessions with the teachers as to brainstorm how online test can be done. So if you have done any programs now, you can see that they have their own online platforms. I did few on IIMB, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, where they have a software. I just have to log in, all my other this thing would close, and it is an open book exam. So usually the application-based questions are asked, and I'll have to answer them. Even if you have an open book, I won't be getting. They will not ask me definition and all these things. They will ask me how you will implement a particular strategy, how you will take a decision in this situation. These are more objective and this thing. You will have to answer the question on the basis of your understanding of that subject. So there is a possibility. So we are still in a very nascent stage. We don't know how it goes, and maybe future we have a robust system of examinations. Also, many companies like Infosys and these people are working on it. We are trying to get a very good this thing. Instead of having the online system, can I have this entire answers recorded? They speak, they write, and don't know. So we are working on it, and maybe whatever we have, we are using it. And sooner or later, there will be more robust system which can be beginning. COVID has happened. We are not still out of COVID, and so many things have already happened. You can imagine the moment the university start, the kind of changes they bring. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else, or we can wind up?
Very good presentation, sir. Your first attempt is grand success.
Thank you, Sudha. In fact, she is my colleague, and she is watching me from this thing is how I'm able to do it. So I usually don't come up. Thank you.
Very good presentation, sir.
Thank you. So if there are no questions, we can wind up. I thank Kasiraman sir for inviting me. I thank the AO here.
Hi, sir.
And yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sir, one more question.
Yeah, please.
There is a Google Classroom is a synchronized or asynchronized teaching learning.
Google Classroom is more asynchronous because you are not coming online, both the teacher and the student.
Okay.
You are sending the content which they can watch later, and then they submit their assignment.
Okay.
So most of this would be asynchronous. Synchronous is when teacher and student both are together. Okay. You are having both. There is an interaction going on. So that is this.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'm Dr. Jaykumar.
Tell me,
actually,
that
through that synchronization and the asynchronization means, especially that practical classes regarding that, how we can synchronize with the real feelings to do the practicals and all.
See, practicals, you mean to say the account subjects and all?
No, we are science subject. For example, chemistry, physics means how we can get the real feelings, real experience, real outcomes.
Yeah. I'll tell you this thing. I wish you can watch the online platform of Vedantu and other this thing. What they do is they use the graphics over there. No, I understand we are all new to it, but then you can ask the students or somebody who is in your college who works on graphics. You can ask them what exactly you want. If you look at the televisions today, they show various forms of coronavirus. I don't know whether it looks like that, but there are so many forms of it, you cannot even imagine. Yes. So, if you are a chemistry or a physics teacher, you have to teach, say, for example, a certain experiment, a Bohmer's model, or you have this, what do you call it, nanotechnology, this thing, wherein you can show them graphically. So, you can create, say, for example, you have an experiment where light comes and hits the surface, and then what kind of dispersion happens, what moves out. So this is your photoelectronic effect or something like that. Now it is simple this thing. You can take it to the advanced level. I really don't know what are the concepts. So this can be shown using the graphical representation. The heating happens, the red zone of that heating, that can be shown. So this becomes very easy when you are actually taking class. You bring in this video and then you discuss on this. Okay. Now, because we are new to it, we are learning. Maybe sooner or later, all this digital technology will come to our aid and bring it. Right. So there is possibility. Yes, the softwares available for that. Say for mathematics, there are software where I can write the formulas easily. Today, mathematics teachers, they are struggling. They write on a paper, they scan it, and then they put it on the PPT. Instead of that, like your translator of your if you can write in Tamil and all, there are translating softwares. Similarly, there are softwares for writing. Only thing is we'll have to learn it now. We are not learned it all these days. We'll have to learn those softwares.
Okay. So sometimes how to measure the heat there, how to feel the chillness and the freezing point, how to find out. So we cannot find out. Yeah, that is the reason I'm asking.
No, that's what you will have to start visualizing things, and you will have to animate it. Technology and all will come to your aid.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Is there any questions, participants? Do you want to post any questions regarding? Yes, actually, thank you. And the session is more informative, and even I can see many person post in the chat box that session is awesome and totally informative. And on behalf of our PSR group of institution, we really thank you for your wonderful presentation, sir. And it's a right time. It's the right time to propose vote of thanks. And I would like to call Ms. Agalya, Assistant Professor Management Studies, for proposing vote of thanks, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. And Honorable Dr. Anil B. Malali, a Professor and Head, Department of Commerce, Acharya Institute of Graduate Studies, Bangalore. Dr. B.G. Vishnuram, sir, Principal, PSR Engineering College. And Dr. R. Kasiraman, sir, Head, Department of Management Studies, and to all the participants. I, on behalf of the Department of Management Studies, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the honorable speaker and other delegates, blessed with their sense and for and I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Anil B. Malali, sir, for his patience and skills on a pattern in the teaching learn process post COVID-19. Thank you, sir. And also, I want to extend a special thanks to our correspondent, sir, Koli Sami, and our principal, sir, Dr. P.G. for providing us encouragement and support to organize this webinar appearances. And I especially like to thank our head of department, Dr. R. Kasiraman, and the organizing committee for this webinar. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants who have attended and turned up this event a successful one. Thank you all for your cooperation. Once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. And sir, really, as a you all participant, actually for Dr. Anil, sir, at the right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Feedback in the chat. And you can kindly ask all the participants to fill the feedback and get that certification. Thank you all. We can meet in another room. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Resource person mail ID in chat box.
Yes, sir. Sure. Did you get it? This is SAS mail ID.
Okay, sir. I got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Once you fill your feedback form, and immediately you can get the certificate from that is in your mail. And you check your mailbox. That registered mail ID, you can get that e-certificate. After posting the feedback, you can immediately get your certificate. And if you leave the box right now.
Yes, you have to fill the feedback, sir.